Just over a year ago, the world was blessed with 3 Spider-Men working together to fight their common enemies across the multiverse. We're getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
So let's take a walk down memory lane to discuss some pretty obvious plot holes and details you may have missed as you took in the action of the film. Mind you, this one's going to make you rewatch the movie all over again. So let's begin, starting with this pretty obvious plot hole. So, Spider-Man ended with Peter Parker being erased from everyone's memory. Yeah, it was heartbreaking for sure. But let's forget that for a bit and focus on more important things. What? Don't look at us like that. We've had a year to get over the heartbreak of Peter's friends forgetting him. Move on, guys. Anyway, because the movie was so epic, fans obviously rewatched it a few hundred times, and during that, one of them pointed out a pretty obvious plot hole that we don't believe we missed. So, everyone forgot Peter Parker, and that he was Spider-Man, right? But then what about this trophy cabinet, and all the Spider-Man memorabilia that's pretty clearly pointing to Peter Parker being the masked hero? You missed it too, didn't you? Wait up, so what happened to the trophy cabinet? This plot hole, which a Reddit user pointed out, is actually a pretty minor detail we can't believe the creators missed. But then we thought, maybe they missed it on purpose. Because of course, you can't spell out every action of every character in a film. Some stuff has to be left for the assumption. So we assume that once the spell was cast, and everyone forgot about Spidey, he may have gone back to the places he frequented and erased all memories of him, whether they were pictures, forms, trophies, and all that. Because other than his trophy cabinet, his photos with Aunt May obviously exist too. And considering all the events after her death happened the same night, Happy wouldn't have had a chance to go back and collect everything from their apartment. And, once the dust died down, Peter probably visited first and removed all the pictures and memorabilia that belonged to him, which he probably did at his school too, which would take care of this problem. Then again, Doctor Strange's magic may have done the job for him too. It was a foolproof spell to make everyone forget about Peter Parker. Maybe it erased all physical memories of him too, including pictures, records, and everything else. You guys do remember the new GED book in his apartment, right? Maybe he was studying to get his education records back on track, with an all-new identity. This also explains Quentin Beck's video plot hole, because anyone who watched it would find out about Parker's identity again, right? But according to fans, it was a full and final spell that made sure every evidence, memory, and anything hinting towards Parker's existence was removed and done with. And this is explained in a deleted post-credit scene where they show all pictures of Peter vanishing, except for one where a bird hides his face. This means the spell was pretty foolproof in erasing Peter from existence after all. Poor guy, all he wanted was to get his friends into MIT. But this makes up for an interesting theory, right? But that wasn't the only plot hole in the film, because after that, there's one more about Venom. So Peter Parker was forgotten, and all was well on Earth 616 again. But then, we saw Venom at the very end of the movie, who was transported to a totally different state, and whose symbiote recognized Peter Parker right away. Well, the other Peter Parker, of course. The question is, though, that this version of the symbiote has never met Spider-Man. Neither has Eddie. So how did they pass through the portal, considering only those people who knew Peter from their universe could? Well, we have an answer for that too. According to fans, a symbiote works as a hive mind with ancestral memories preserved in its system. So even while this symbiote is brand new, its previous ancestor knew Tobey Maguire's Spidey all too well. And because that connects this one to him, Eddie also made it to this universe. Only the poor guy was too confused to act on anything. And then, he was transported away soon after. But he did leave a piece of the symbiote behind. But we'll get to that a little later. Also, some more on the genius background details. You may have heard of the theory about No Way Home being set in the same time frame as Hawkeye, right? Well, there's another detail that proves that. In the beginning, the scene when Spidey's identity is revealed, there's a billboard for Rogers the Musical, which can also be found in Hawkeye. So is the Christmas setup at the end of the movie. Oh, and the film's got so many callbacks to previous Spider-Man movies. One of them is this news anchor who played the same role back in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's Pat Kiernan, an actual news reporter who's also appeared in The Avengers, Daredevil, Iron Man, and Hawkeye. Another callback is the line, "He's just a kid," someone mutters in the beginning when the crowd ambushes Peter and Michelle. This line was spoken by another crowd member in Tobey's Spider-Man film when they found out his identity. Oh, and the film's got some MCU hints too. Can you catch this line about New Asgard in this news clip? So cool, right? And right next to it is the news that the Czech Republic wants to arrest the Spider Monkey. Hey, at least they remembered him. There's also this cute little detail where the charging port for Peter's Iron Spider suit, which is super cool too. Oh, and don't miss out on the subtle references to MCU's old films, including this Black Widow-style headlock from Peter, his t-shirts that he was seen wearing in Homecoming, and these drawings in Michelle's room, one of which she drew in their detention back in the first film. There are also these deleted scenes. That includes more hidden details, like this one, where you can see Mr. Delmar's Deli, which was blown up back in Homecoming with a facelift and a new name, Delmar's 3. We also loved Peter showing off his skills, even though forcefully, when he climbs up the gym wall after his classmates ask him to. There's also another Matt Murdock moment where he's seen advising Happy to stop sweating just as he sees Peter bringing a bunch of villains into his apartment. Oh, and have you heard of that story Tom Holland told during the film's press tour where his brother Harry acted as a thief and Holland caught him? While it was deleted from the main film, it's still part of the deleted scenes, which is cute. Also, don't tell us you haven't seen this awkward elevator ride clip. It's the funniest one in the entire bunch. Plus, did you hear this detail about Tony Revolori's Flash? No, we're not talking about his book's name. We know Flashpoint is a super subtle link to DC's comic of the same name, and we found it to be really cool too. But that was back when we were watching the film. Honestly guys, wake up already. We're talking about Revolori's explanation of Flash, which helped him get into character better. According to him, his character wasn't explored much in the movie, even though we wanted a better arc for him. But even then, whenever he had to get into character, he'd play him as a socioeconomically superior dude who wasn't afraid to use his own privilege to get what he wanted, including his admission into MIT. It isn't clearly mentioned, but Tony believes if Ned, Michelle, and Tom couldn't get into the school, how could Flash? Well, through bribery. When they were shooting the film, the whole college scandal about rich parents bribing their way into schools was at its peak. So Tony used that as an inspiration for Flash, who acted as if he owned the school and gave him a pretty solid background story that actually fit well with the narrative too. Well, that's a genius move. We hope we get to see him again if Spider-Man returns, which takes us to the next question. Now, will Holland's Spider-Man return? Over a year ago, we were teased with an idea of another Spider-Man trilogy from the MCU, where Tom Holland will be the main lead. While we haven't had any updates so far, now that a year has passed since this amazing blockbuster, Sony has finally given us some good news when their chairman, Tom Rothman, addressed the question by saying, "You bet we'll have a new MCU Spider-Man film." He mentioned how it was a no-brainer, and that the film is very much coming. But he didn't give us any more details after, because as per him, no wine before you dine. Okay, but could we maybe have some wine? As of now, no one's attached to the project, and we'll have to wait to see what happens. But hey, at least we have news of a new Spider-Man movie coming out soon. The question is, does Spider-Man even fit into the multiverse saga, considering how he did open up a portal to multiple universes and fought with 2 other Spider-Men? Yeah, the masked Webby definitely fits into the whole narrative. Although, yeah, he won't be a part of the Avengers anymore. This is sad, but we'll take not an Avenger Spider-Man over no Spider-Man any day. Plus, now that no one remembers him, according to Feige, he'll be leading the street vigilante part of the MCU with Daredevil. This means we can expect both of them to team up at some point. And let's not forget the symbiote that Eddie left behind. That's another part of the story we'll be hoping to see. As for his multiverse journey, there are 2 ways to go about it. For one, he'll be part of the heroes who fight Kang and then in Battleworld, where they're transported from different universes. He may meet his old Spidey pals again in the film. And then, there's the whole Spider-Verse angle, which he could explore, adding new spiders to the mix of the already crazy world he's living in. Or maybe, he'll make a cameo in the upcoming Spider-Verse film. Wishful thinking, but it doesn't harm us to hope, right? That's a wrap for this video. What adventure do you think Spider-Man will bring us in the next movie? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.